The small alien maid pleaded for him to cleanse her. What he witnessed left him stunned. Ethan Cole had lived alone on the border of the mining settlement's outpost for nearly 2 years. He had grown to love the solitude, the open skies, and the brilliance of desert stars burning like flames against the vast midnight canvas. Human interaction was rare, limited to the occasional supply vessel landing every few months. He believed that was how he wanted it until she entered his life. She was scarcely taller than his waist, her silver hair gleaming faintly as though it absorbed unseen light. Her pale skin carried a soft luminescent shimmer, and her wide violet eyes reflected both terror and resolve. She had arrived at his cabin door 3 nights earlier, shivering and ragged, speaking an unknown tongue but pleading with gestures and broken sounds. Ethan deciphered her meaning piece by piece. She was a fugitive, a runaway from some off-world trafficking cartel. How she had traveled so far or why she had chosen his remote shelter was a mystery, but he understood the urge to flee chains. That alone was enough. Since then, she had worked earnestly inside his cabin, as though declaring herself his caretaker. She swept the floors, arranged his scattered tools, and attempted to cook using alien spices tucked in a pouch at her hip. Though clumsy in the kitchen, she was determined, and Ethan found himself smiling at her attempts more often than he intended. But nothing could have braced him for her next request. That evening, the heat of the twin suns had faded, leaving a chill over the canyons. Ethan was preparing water for his own wash when she stepped into the room, her bare feet soundless on the metal floor. "Ethan," she said softly, struggling with his language. She tugged his sleeve. "Wash me." Ethan nearly dropped the kettle. "Wash you," he echoed, startled. She nodded firmly, though her cheeks tinted pale pink. "Yes, dust sickness not go alone." Embarrassment wrestled with worry in his chest. Her kind seemed fragile, more delicate than humans, and he had noticed her coughing after the last storm. The fine dust clung to skin and hair, seeping into pores. Perhaps she truly needed his help. "All right," he said at last, voice low. "But only if you're certain." Her smile bloomed, and her violet eyes shone like twilight stars. He filled the basin with heated water, steam curling in the dim light. She approached, loosening the strange wrappings around her body. Ethan turned his gaze quickly, heat rushing to his face, but she only laughed gently, like distant wind chimes. "Human shy," she teased, halting words but playful tone. He tried to steady his focus. He dipped a cloth, wrung it out, and pressed it to her shoulder. Her skin was cool, softer than silk, and the glow beneath her surface pulsed faintly at his touch, casting lavender light across his hand. As he wiped away the desert grit, he realized she trembled, not from fear, but from some inner energy. "You okay?" he asked quietly. She nodded, closing her eyes. "Feels safe," he continued, brushing the cloth along her arms, her back, through her hair. As the dust faded, something incredible emerged, patterns beneath her skin. Glowing sigils weaving like constellations. They spread from her collarbone across her torso, pulsing in rhythm like a living star map. His breath caught. "What in the—" Her eyes opened slowly, locking with his. "Secret," she whispered. "No show slavers. Only trust." The weight of her words sank deep. These weren't mere decorations. They were alive, powerful, and the reason she was hunted. She wasn't just a runaway. She was something far rarer. The air between them thickened. Ethan froze, cloth dripping water back into the basin. "You trusted me with this?" he asked carefully. "Yes," she whispered, voice trembling. "Ethan kind, not hurt me." She pressed her small hand over his chest, above his heart. "You strong here." His throat tightened. No one had touched him with such faith in years. Before he could answer, a sharp hum pierced the night, engines descending fast. He rushed to the window and saw a dropship setting down in the canyon. Dust traffickers. They had tracked her. Her glow flickered with fear. "They come," she breathed. Ethan clenched his fists. "Not while I'm here." Chaos erupted. He stuffed supplies into a pack, signaled for her to follow, and guided her into the narrow tunnel carved behind his cabin. Boots thundered against metal as traffickers burst through the front, shouting in harsh alien tones. Through twisting rock, they escaped into the open desert. Stars blazed overhead, mirroring the constellations glowing beneath her skin. She stumbled, exhausted, but Ethan caught her, lifting her into his arms. "Hold on," he growled, sprinting through the sands. Behind them, shouts and searing bolts of energy ripped across the ground. But the desert was vast, and Ethan knew its paths better than any hunter. He led her through ravines, across dried riverbeds, and into the hidden cave where his old mining crawler rested. As the dropship combed the skies, he powered the crawler to life, engines rumbling. She clung to him, her glowing markings lighting the cabin in soft hues. The crawler surged over dunes, each mile dragging them farther from their pursuers. Ethan gripped the controls with one hand, her hand with the other. Her constellations pulsed gently in rhythm with the engine, guiding them onward. Silence stretched, broken only by the endless desert wind. At last, she leaned against his shoulder, whispering, "They never stop. Always hunt." Ethan's grip tightened. "Then we'll make sure they can't. I know routes their scanners can't touch." He glanced at her glowing skin, the starry maps shifting slowly. And maybe those markings aren't just a secret. Maybe they're the key to something greater. Her eyes widened, hope flickering within the fear. "You not afraid?" He smiled faintly despite exhaustion. "Afraid? I'd be a fool to run from someone who trusted me with everything." Her tiny hand pressed over his heart again, her glow warming him. "Then with you," she whispered. Ethan exhaled, the weight of his long solitude lifting at last. He gazed at the horizon, silver moons rising above the dunes. His voice settled. "No more running. From now on, we fight together." Above them, the desert stars shimmered, mirrored by the living constellations glowing beneath her skin. Whatever fate awaited, Ethan knew this was only the beginning of something far greater.